listening to the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. Episode number 54. Welcome everybody to our podcast, the place the casual player can relax and enjoy talking about the game. And we appreciate you tuning in, whether live here on YouTube or on the podcast platform of your choice. I'm Sooltime, and I'm here with RomanceGirl, Greenstego, and Salliebug. How is everybody doing?
Great.
I'm doing great.
Good.
Awesome. You enjoying the heat? It's the summertime heat.
Oh, I'm standing inside.
Yeah.
In
Well,
my
you
little
know,
cave.
with the heat comes the solstice. So let's get right into it. I'm excited about this topic, the solstice event for 2022, which is a great casual player event in some respects, kind of hardcore in others, right? But I'm having fun. I'm certainly having fun with this event so far. Stego, have you dipped your toes into the solstice event?
Yes, I have. We have played the EAZ and some of the activities on the ticket, and I gotta say, every time I come to the EAZ, I am pleased. That's the European aerial zone to our viewers.
Yes. EAZ.
I want to say that I'm thankful that there's much less jumping involved in the EAZ.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
No.
and the treasure hunt at the end has been edited out, which I'm
Yes.
appreciative of, because that was always a stressful time.
Right, you're supposed to be having fun, and instead it's just like you're just all
Yeah, there's a
stressed
timer
out.
going down and
It
you have
feels
to
like
find
it feels like
hidden all over.
the Zer wacky zany obstacle course, only just like a lot more pressure and not as fun.
Right. It's just like the stress of like you're gonna lose out because you can't get to the darn thing.
But
So,
every time we come back, they make the vertical space more accessible. The launcher pads that like shoot you up,
right.
they're that was a welcome addition last time around, and now I feel like the controls on them are a lot more smooth.
Not for me.
Well, I mean, I'm still getting used to the blue.
Trying to get on the roof
Are you talking about
I'm
those
with Salliebug. I appreciate that they've streamlined it a little.
the blue poofy things, the blue things that you can go into to help you jump up? I'm still trying to get used to and how they work.
The problem is if you, as a hunter, press your jump too soon, it cancels out the elevator, and then you just shoot to the bottom.
Right. That's what's been happening.
If you're a little trigger happy like Salliebug and I,
Yeah.
and you're a hunter, then you're just gonna be trying to get up to the roof. Meanwhile,
I mean,
other two members have already got in there.
Right. It's just like, by the third, I was like, okay, I'm going to try 3 times. And if I haven't gotten it, they're going to have everything killed by the time I got there anyway. So I'm going to give up.
I always just assume I'm not gonna get to the taken. I'll try, but we all know I'm not gonna get there.
Right. I'm in exactly the same place. But, they've put, there's fewer places that you do have to jump to. So it's like, I think if you do it a little more often, like I haven't done that many rounds, I think maybe what?
Right. I was going to say, and to expand upon that, I think we have really enjoyed the gameplay cycle of like, having a reason to jump into these other playlists that we've been ignoring. And then going back and playing a little bit of bonfire, dumping our leaves into the bonfire, and then going back and playing some more activities and getting some more things checked off.
Yeah.
It's been really fun.
It really has.
The way
I haven't done this much strikes in like seasons.
Yeah.
Right.
And we grinded a lot of nightfalls.
Oh, did you? Actually, that's on our to-do list tonight, isn't it, Sooltime?
Yeah.
It's
We'll do that
we did the easiest level with matchmaking.
Yep.
no champions, and just
Adept?
kept rolling through.
Right.
Yep, with the hand cannon shotgun, so you get those kills done.
Yeah, we were actually just earlier discussing Ager's Scepter Catalyst, because we were like, oh, we missed that. Dang, that was around for like 6 months and we missed it. How do you get it now? And then it just dropped during the Nightfall.
Yeah, we
for
just
both
got it. We're like, yeah, there we go.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Catch-up mechanic. And,
right.
yeah, it's Warden of Nothing this week. So it's very easy, just very familiar. And well, I will say though, if you like get caught on your loading screen or you stop at all, that you're pretty much gonna be left behind for the entire strike. It is not one to it's
Stop
definitely
and
one you
smell
want
the
to keep
roses.
running and keep up with it on.
Yeah, keep up with the blueberry.
It's amazing how this event seems like the lobbies are just jam-packed full of people doing pub evs and patrols.
No, we would run into, we're doing the easiest Nightfall. We're just grinding the easy Nightfall, getting those double Vanguard rewards. And we're seeing people who are level 400, 350, and the seasonal rank pass also just doing the same thing as us.
Right.
It's great.
We were having the same thing, like just going down to the EDZ and doing pub evs and just saying, oh my god, it's been forever that I've come to a pub ev, and there's like 5 other people here doing the pub ev, and it's getting done in like less than a minute.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people working.
I was telling
on it, so.
Salliebug I never one phase the Blight public event. like the first Blight, they just took it out. Like unbelievable. Yeah. Usually we lay off and then do it on the 3rd round because the damage increases each round. And this is the first time I've ever participated in that public event, and the guys just
there's just so many people participating.
I know, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Kind of fun.
It's so much fun.
Opine and I spent some time in.
We had fun doing that, and we did Mayhem as well.
Oh my god, we did so much Mayhem, and we actually spent some time in Gambit.
Yeah, it was fun.
We're saving Gambit for next week for double rewards.
I actually had
it's a good
fun.
idea.
Oh, that is a very good. Okay, pro tip, hot take. Save your Gambit for next week.
But yeah, we had. I did some Jotun Catalyst farming in Mayhem.
Oh shit!
Nice.
I hate you.
You're the one who's been killing me all that with the Jotun.
On my super, and then to get my Jotun kills so easily. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's literally more powerful than my Blade Brush. It's not more powerful than my Blade Brush. I'm just very bad with Blade Brush.
Right.
It's funny.
But it was fun because I feel like it's fair game in Mayhem, Jotun. I wouldn't usually, well, actually, this is, my first time using Jotun because I thought it'd be fun to get the catalyst for it.
Right. I've actually just started working on the Jotun catalyst, but I didn't think about taking it into the Crucible. We did a lot of Mayhem. So Mayhem is like the only
along.
Mayhem is about the only thing that I can actually tolerate, because it's just like everything is just kind of fair game, and your grenades and your melee and your supers just come back. And you just expect to die by a super like every 10 seconds.
Exactly.
Or, it's like it's.
I didn't see that coming, and I'm like, I bet they did.
I bet you they did.
Blade Brush.
Right. So yeah, I actually had some fun with it, and it certainly got through. That helped get through those 25 games.
Yes, it was very nice. I just launched in the same week that Mayhem was active.
Yeah, because I don't think I would
necessarily want to farm Guardian kills any other way.
No, I don't think I would have been able to do it any other way, really. So,
well, a couple of things about the Solstice event that I'm impressed with or happy about. is one, no trials requirement, which is very nice. And I am enjoying Mayhem as well, and I think that's another good tip is take that Jotun catalyst into Mayhem. The other thing that I found fun and interesting is I feel like the devs used this solstice event as a armor building tutorial in a way, because if you think about it, the steps of the quests like that Ava gives you is injecting, the Kindle bundles into your armor, and it's like everything's there. All the flavor text is there to understand how to focus these armor pieces into the stats that you want. And that leads to like, okay, so if I'm focusing on, my mobility, and then I get my ghost out and put in an intellect mod, I'm going to have high mobility and at least 10 in intellect, right? That's how it works. And so you're starting to learn, like, okay, so you've got the two stat pools, the top three, which are mobility, resilience, recovery, and those correspond to the three classes, pretty much. Hunter for mobility, resilience for the Titan, and recovery for the Warlock. It helps their cooldown of their class abilities. And then you also can spec into either discipline, strength, or intellect, right? And it's those two separate. You can have high numbers in one in each of those two groups. So I'm starting to really learn about focusing armor.
Well, we just learned that you can do mobility and resilience. So you're not limited by those two groups. Because Daniel was trying to tell me I couldn't.
Well, you're
do
limited with numbers, though. You're limited with how high they can be, because I forget what the exact number is, but the top three can only add up to so much, and the bottom three can only add up to so much. So there is a cap.
Yeah, those three in the group. So if you focus,
it's like 69 or something like that.
Focus.
Yeah.
If you
I would say
focus,
armor leveling up is my least favorite part, but I just don't like build crafting.
But I think Sooltime's right in
it's
that
making it accessible for somebody
been,
who wants to dabble in it. I think it's very easy. It's step by step. Like, here's what you do.
I got really confused and angry and yelling about not knowing what small kindling versus large kindling versus fully rekindling and why I was going back and forth between the two slots. So I get that for some people it was helpful. For me, I was like, why am I going back and forth? Why?
I do think
that's just the Bungie and their obsession
that is convoluted,
with 20 million
that part
types
of it.
their
silver
obsession
silver ash versus Kindles versus
it's currency crazy again.
That's just Bungie's obsession with currencies, right? But outside of that, just understanding kind of like how build crafting works and how speccing armor with a certain spec works. Because
focusing
I never
in
really
on stats.
I was kind of like you, Romance Girl, just like I knew that a piece of armor with the higher the number at the bottom, right? Like if it's a 55 versus a 61, I knew that the higher the number, the better the armor piece was. But outside of that, not much else. Right. I usually just looked at that number and then just didn't bother outside of anything else.
So to simplify it, here's my philosophy towards it. And Greenstego, I'd like to get your feedback on this. To simplify it for myself, I've basically gone for solstice armor that has, and you can do this with 4 pieces because your class item doesn't have any stats to begin with. And so you can do it with the 4 pieces, you can focus it. And so what I'm doing is I'm focusing the large increase in the top class stat. So my hunter, let's take my hunter for example. I'll do my hunter, I will focus mobility. and I'll put it on 2 pieces of armor because I know I'm going to get like in the 20 to 30 something range when I do that. And then I'll put on my ghost shell so that I get intellect. I'm just going for intellect because I figure I can spec into things that give me back my grenade or my melee with either with weapons or mods and things like that. So I'm just going for intellect. I want my super to come back quick. So I'm using my ghost just for intellect on all 4 armor pieces, and then I'm doing mobility on 2. And then I think I'm going to go with resilience on the other 2. If I did you would just be wasting numbers because I did mobility on 3 at first, and I had like 120 mobility. And I was like, oh, I'm wasting 20 points, 20 stat points. So I'm backing off and just doing 2 armor pieces with mobility and intellect, and the other 2 with resilience and intellect, just to streamline it, just to get... And it's really cool the way it just popped up. It's like, wow, I've never had like 100 a full, top tier stat before like this. It's rare that I've done that. So I
just did resilience and discipline on all my things because those seem to be like the most popular. But
yeah, resilience is definitely the meta right now.
YouTubers, they always talk about resilience and discipline. So.
That's what I did. I did resilience and discipline because I was like, yeah, it's nice to get your super back more often, but I'm almost always hitting the grenade button, like wanting my grenade.
Yeah.
So like just being able to have that
has really benefited grenades, and you like really want to do grenade builds with these 3.0.
Yes, yeah. And especially when we'll get to it a little bit more with my, when we talk about our loadouts, but especially with the loadout.
But it is true that you can also spec into just having getting your grenade back with other things.
But then you could just always have it, right? Like it'd just be like one of those situations. If your discipline was high too, then you would just never be without one.
Yeah, I mean the possibilities are endless of how depending on your play style and what you want. I'm just testing this out to see how it works.
I do like that once you do it in one slot, it unlocks it for all other subsequent pieces.
Right.
So if you didn't like the roll, you don't have to do the kindling thing
I went overboard with the mobility, and so I was able to just very easily pick up another piece of that armor and re-roll it and get it right up. It was not a problem. You just need the silver ash currency, and I had plenty of that.
Yeah, that is very nice. So if you made a mistake or it's like, oh, I've changed my mind, they kind of allow for that.
Or if you want to grind out all 4 elements.
Oh gosh, there's people who do that. I'm sure.
Oh my god, I'm sure there are people who
not
do
on this
that.
podcast.
Yeah.
I already have I can't keep up with all the armor. I just keep one if it has spiky stats or if it is a high total stat roll. And so I appreciate the candescent armor system, but I'm already swimming in armor.
I hear you.
And I actually am thankful that they I think this was with the Witch Queen. I don't know when they made that change where it only costs glimmer. It's a lot of glimmer, but it only costs glimmer to change the affinity. Yeah. I so thankful for that because it was just like, having all like, okay.
It made me way more hesitant to masterwork something because I didn't know if it was the right element.
Right, is this the affinity that I want? Or
can I just say, you go to affinity-based mods, not happy.
Yeah.
No, I know.
But at least I just don't think the system is set up with all the mods that they have that all of them could go into every single piece. So I understand
that there's a system of trying to split up the mods because there's so many now.
Yeah, I understand the reasoning behind it. It's just
I would also like
just a casual player's nightmare.
3.0.
Yeah,
champions just need an overwork altogether.
Yeah, I just would like intrinsic perks that take care of champions at this point.
Right.
Stego?
Yeah, I think the whole armor level up stat system is in need of a complete overhaul.
It's good, but just not great.
Yeah.
I would say it's not broken. It could be worse.
It could be way worse, but I think it could still be simplified and more approachable, while still providing like build opportunities and the depth. Yeah, the depth that the hardcore community is really looking for. But I don't think that it's.
I think I need to get more into the loadouts feature on Dim.
Yeah. I'm just dabbling with that a little bit now, but I haven't been doing too much with it. I mean, again, coming from a casual perspective, I can put a little more time into it now because it's the summer. So, once summer's gone, then it's going to be more difficult.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think we've talked about this before, but just like sometimes you just want to get on and play, and having to like spend like your first 15 or 20 minutes making sure you have the right mods on the right and that you have the right affinity for, like I can use.
I can't be bothered most of the time. I just want to just jump in and do things.
I can use yesterday as an example. I picked up the Gambit bounties, and one of them was like void suppression or something. And I was like,
volatile.
Well, that's not happening. Right. Well, right. Volatile. I was like, well, that's not happening because I don't have a void loadout, and I want to wear my clandestine armor, and all the mods in there are based on the solar class that I'm. Yeah, the candescent, and it's like, and I don't want to change affinities and have to like spend 15 minutes changing into my void subclass and changing all the mods. Like it was just like
a similar thing with playing Dares of Eternity, and they have champions in there. But they also have solstice challenges for using hand cannons and shotguns. So I was already with my hand cannon shotgun build, rearing to go. And then I was
Think
like,
again.
I can't take out any champion. I went in without any champion mods in.
No, I did too.
I used Lament.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just super them.
Come on. There needs to be some kind of like way to override this. But also,
it's like they're asking you to do two different things. They're asking you to use certain types of weapons, but then they're also asking you to take down champions, and you can't use those weapons. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because they tell you which champion weapons to use. Every season.
We've had a problem with that.
We need more than just the Arbalest that has inherent champion
yes,
feature.
I was saying I would love it if it was just like, okay, let's just say all hand cannons are inherently anti-barrier, or all shotguns are inherently unstoppable.
Right.
Yeah, I like the idea of inherency, like they're starting to do with the unique.
Or instead of inherent, have them be
origin traits.
Have either an origin trait.
Origin traits. Put it in the origin traits.
Put it in an origin trait, or just have it be a perk. Like have it be a perk. This is an anti-barrier.
Also effective against anti-barrier.
I honestly I'd be happy with just going back to the old system where you had to put the mod into the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true too.
I mean, I didn't like it back then, and I complained about it, but
it's certainly more. It
was a little more flexible, at least.
Right. Because the other thing is that and again we're when we start talking about loadouts, one of the loadouts that I ended up going with based on Plunder the Booty didn't
the YouTuber.
Right, the YouTuber didn't put any like champion mods in the arm slot. Like those were already used up with other mods. It's like, okay, now I have to like actually change this out, and it
exactly
it's complicated.
Well, that's a good segue. But before we get into the loadouts today, I did have something else. Good news is I found out we have over 40 unique listeners thus far, and I don't know how that number
40 or 140.
over 40, and it was like I think the number was like in the 143 or something like that. I got the actual number from a support person from the podcast host. So we're probably going to end up with commercials on our podcast, or an ad. Start off with an ad. So that's a good possibility coming out. And it's amazing the different countries that Germany is up there. So if you're in Germany, send us a line. We'd love to hear from you. You can write the text in German even. Daniel, you speak German, right?
Nope.
Okay. Moving right along. So
Google Translate is your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody know what our next segment is called?
Paracasual loadouts.
Welcome to Paracasual Loadouts. What's come out of your vault lately?
All right, Paracasual Loadouts. Who wants to start? Not me.
I finished the Duality Catalyst.
That's Duality, the exotic shotgun, not Duality, the dungeon.
There's not a
I was
catalyst
confused.
dungeon.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
I was confused there. The Duality shotgun. I think I did that a while back. Fun.
It's an old one, but they said to get shotgun kills, and I wanted to finish another Catalyst. So
Nice.
Yeah, I actually took your advice and said, well, hey, if I'm just going to be running these things, honestly, I went on a tear through Dares of Eternity. It's like I wanted
Tear through dare.
a tear through Dares. I wanted to get all of the treasure keys so I could get the ship and the sparrow and the ghost and just be done with it. And so I played
Must be done with it.
so many. I mean, I don't know how many years I did, but it was a lot. But not knowing that at the end it was like, oh, then if you get to a certain level, then you get the Forerunner catalyst, or you get like a ticket or something that allows you to get the Forerunner catalyst. So we had to once again rely on the British contingency of our clan to get us through a higher level dares, so I could guarantee that high score. But that was fun. It was fun kind of going after it. And now I'm still working on the Forerunner catalyst because you have to get kills. But again, it's like it's a sidearm, and right now the focus is on hand cannons and shotguns. So I haven't gotten many kills with it since then, but it was fun getting it. And I feel like I worked on getting another catalyst as well. I can't remember what it is now.
Borealis?
No.
That's a hard one. I'm still working on Borealis.
It was definitely a primary and not one that requires you to get kills in the Crucible, because I started with the Suros and it's like, okay, that's going to take me forever. So I'm just not going to do that one right now. So it was something else, but I feel like it was another sidearm. Right.
So the Trespasser from this season?
Oh, Trespasser.
I don't think so. But I did also unlock a pattern. I got the Sweet Sorrow pattern unlocked and was able to shape that one. So
nice.
that was kind of fun because I hadn't done anything in the Enclave in like months because I kept not getting patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just happened to look at what my progress was in dim, and it's like, oh, I'm only one away from this one. I'll use that to go buy the red frame at the war table. So
cool.
That was kind of fun. So and as I said, I plunder the booties, trip mine loadout. So I wanted to mention this before went into mayhem, and I was just like literally just spamming trip mines everywhere, and I would be on the other side of the map, and I'd just go kill someone. It's like because people would like inevitably run over one of my trip mines. It was like, yeah. So I was like, half my kills are just people accidentally or like like throwing random trip mines everywhere. So it was fun.
Nice. Stego?
I have been bouncing around back and forth between filling up red frame weapons and just using my following what the bounties are asking for.
I gotta tell you, that's a pain. I've started infusing and deleting my red frames. That's because my vault was just too overloaded with them.
I have that problem
and I'm maxed out on the currencies you get from them. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah,
maxed out on currency, but nothing to shape.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but that might change as I start doing some more wellspring or something, or get some of those other frames, or rather the right ones. I actually deleted a mini callus tool red one though. There's the danger of doing this, and I shouldn't have. Because I needed it for the.
Yeah, you got to look and before you delete it, make sure it doesn't
I
say
tired.
This is a pattern.
I was tired and deleted it.
Frame that I already had enough red frames to make the pattern for at the war table, and I was so mad because it's like so punishing if you pick the wrong one.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like almost crying. I was like, this is so unfair.
And yeah, it'll take me basically like the rest of the year to get enough red frames from the war table, like last season's ones.
Once a week,
able
right?
To craft.
I know,
yeah,
exactly.
Only once a week, and because you don't get more than that anymore. Yeah, when was the last time you got a red frame piece of mind? That just doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
It's
tough.
Hopefully maybe they'll introduce a better way to get red frames.
It is definitely not casual player friendly, the weapon shaping.
I don't think it's meant to be though.
It's not meant to be a quick thing or something to go for. It's supposed to happen organically.
Right. It's kind of we have like conflicting play styles in all of us. Like inside of me there are two wolves.
Right.
One is a completionist and one is a casual go with the flow.
Right.
Guy. And so like I want to have complete builds, but I also just kind of want to just play the game and not feel like too much pressure and stress with it. And
and it's hard to
my vault is full.
And it's hard to just like I said, it's like sometimes it's like as a casual player you only have so many hours. It's not like we're spending hours and hours and hours playing the game. We're doing other things. We're
the summer being the exception for us.
Yeah, with
teachers,
the summer being the exception. But even today, like you got on a little bit this morning, but I haven't been on at all today because there's just other things going on.
Too many errands to run. Right.
Yeah, doing errands or you're enjoying the company of your cats. I don't know.
Well, you can do that while you're playing Destiny. You just sit them on your head. But to close out the loadouts, I've been running solar, of course, on all three characters. I've been playing all three. I do have that one wolf, the completionist wolf inside of me, wants to get the finish the candescent armor on all three classes. So it's a bit of a goal of mine, whether I do it or not. I'm not that adamant about it, but I'm on the road to doing that, and it's fun. I am enjoying the something new hand cannon. I got a really good roll. It's Headstone, Feeding Frenzy, High Cal, and Full Bore, and I've just been having so much fun with that weapon. I took it. I was in what was it? Crucible. I forget which play mode. Oh, it might have been. Gosh, was it Mayhem? I think it was actually Mayhem. I was actually getting headshots with it. It's 2 taps, I believe. Or so it seemed. Maybe they were already weak when I was hitting them. But that's unusual for me to get a headshot, and so I'm really vibing with this gun. I think its masterwork is range. So I'm having fun with that. And with that, we've already had some good tips and tricks so far, some good advice coming from everyone, except for Salliebug. I haven't heard any good advice come from you yet. Do you have anything?
Advice?
Yeah, or tips. Pro tips.
Pro tips.
Pro tips for the casual player. Drink plenty of iced coffee. Ooh, I could go for an iced coffee.
Maybe that'll get us through our nightfall.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll have some iced coffees with our nightfall.
You know, in terms of just have fun. Like, just don't try not to like
that is a pro tip.
Try not to get too hung up on. Like it's almost like I'll liken it to because when I was starting to read the Game of Thrones series. I know that's not what it's called, but
wait, does this belong in the non-Destiny media consumption?
No, because that was a couple summers ago. But I'm just trying to like it. When I was starting to read it, and then one of our literary friends, I was like saying, it's like I'm so confused on who all these characters are, and she goes, "Don't worry about it. Just keep reading, let it go with the flow. It'll all kind of come together eventually." And this game is kind of the same way, right? It's just like sometimes you need to just not be like overly, like overthink it or worry about it too much. Just, learn the just kind of basics and then just have fun with it, right? Just enjoy it. It's a beautiful game. It's got beautiful music, and it's easy and fun to play even for someone who's not like super skilled like myself. I can still go in and have a really good time and enjoy it, except for the Crucible, which except for Mayhem. Mayhem's fun, right?
Yep. I was actually just having a similar thought in Mayhem today when I got outgunned or outplayed numerous times, and I was just like, wow, I am not like very good at this game. And I'm just like fine with it, and I'm still having fun.
Exactly.
So it comes down to, I think if you feed the 2 wolves, then you can get them to where they're not fighting each other, and they're just sort of, lying down and enjoying the game.
That's also the solution to the philosophical quandary of like the 2 wolves.
Yeah.
Which one wins? Right. Well, feed them both.
Feed them both. A little bit of A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah. I choose to live in a world where there's enough food for everyone.
When I gave up on trying to complete all the challenges, and then they just started happening vicariously, it's like, oh, I got that challenge done, and I got a little boost of bright dust. That's nice. But
and
not
dopamine.
And not focusing on it and it's like trying to get that one thing done, because as soon as you focus on trying to get something done, inevitably all these things like roadblocks come your way and make it difficult. So I like just playing it, and then if they just kind of happen vicariously, then I have fun with it, and then that way I don't have to worry too much about like whether or not the game is trying to force me into Crucible. Well, I don't want to play.
Salliebug.
I wish there were more options for it. I feel like they need to be a little. I mean, I understand trying to get people to be in try other elements of their game, but the PvP thing is just like trying to force someone into a PvP thing. It's not, and especially the state of their PvP right now, and the matchmaking.
Oh, shots fired.
She's ruining the she had such lovely advice. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the game regardless. and now it's going downhill.
Unless it's the Crucible.
Unless it's
it's like
there's conditions. There's
Mayhem.
always conditions.
Mayhem's fun, right? It's just, again, it's like it's not my thing, but I know other people go in the Crucible and have a great time. So it's like, but I don't like it when the game tries to force you into a playlist that you don't really want to be in, that you could go and do something else. And I know PvP players have said the same thing. I just want to live in PvP and have fun, but still get some of these other rewards, but you're making me go and do like high-level Nightfalls, and that's not my thing. So I get that too. Right? It's,
shots fired both directions.
I realize that there's other sides to the same coin.
You mean other dimensions to the same universe, in a way?
I don't know. You'll have to talk to Zura about that.
Salliebug's advice in the multiverse of madness. Sally, would you say that basically your advice is don't get caught up in the details and don't get caught up in the Crucible?
yeah, a little bit of both. Exactly.
I was going to add a caveat. I still am. I'm going to add a sub tip to your pro tip, and that would be it's pretty simple. 3 words: stay off Twitter. That's another way to avoid the salt part of the game and sort of the negative externalities associated with a lot of folks who play this game can't chill for sure and have trouble dealing with things. Anyway,
well, how many people play Destiny? Like, it's in the millions, right?
Sure. So
it would be a miracle.
You're gonna get a percentage of any fandom, is what he was getting at, I think.
Yeah, it'd be
that's true.
A miracle if you got 1 million people together and all of them were just chill.
Right.
That's
exactly.
true. The problem with things like social media and even what we're doing is, that negativity can spread pretty fast. It's like mold, and I think Twitter is just a sort of a petri dish.
Well, I mean, it's just like
a lot of that negativity.
Any place where there's forums, Twitter happens to be like it does. People gravitate to that when they're like frustrated and want to like spew something out, right? Because it gives them that outlet. But just be aware of it's not a representation of how most people are, right? There's a lot of positive out there. It's just harder to find. Most people who are enjoying the game aren't stopping their enjoyment and tweeting something out about it. They're still playing the game and having fun. Was the people who got, like headshot 5 times in a row and are now like boiling mad, and so like need an outlet, a frustrating outlet, so they go and spew something negative on the internet, which is stupid in its own right. But
and on that note, I think we're ready for our next segment.
It's time for the Kindergarten Playground. Tips for beginning Destiny 2 players with your host, Sooltime.
Well, thank you, Alan. We have some more tips for the beginners, and we are following, for those of you who are new to the podcast as of recent, we are following Rick Prim Molina's fantastic guide over at blueberries.gg, and the link is in the description. In this segment, we are going to talk about the confusion associated with slot or class that versus ammo type. So basically, there's 3 weapon classes that correspond to the slots in your loadout. And that's going from top to bottom as you're looking at your Guardian. In the Director is kinetic, is on the top, and that represents weapons that are they have no elemental damage.
Except that now there's
stasis, right? Or just stasis type damage. That's the kinetic weapons. Those are in your top slot. The middle slot or class is energy weapons, and now those do have elemental damage, and they are arc, solar, or void. And the bottom slot bottom class is the power weapons, which do extra damage, and they also are capable of elemental damage. In fact, they all have an elemental damage as well. So those are the weapon classes or slots. And it is confusing. I'm looking at what I wrote out here, and I'm even confusing myself. But now you might hear somebody refer to a weapon as a special weapon, a heavy weapon, or a primary weapon, and those are sort of classes as well in and of themselves, but they're based on ammo types. So you could say in general, but not always. It's not there's exceptions to the rule. In general, the kinetic weapons in the top slot use primary ammo, which is white, the white bricks, right?
No.
And then
it's really not that. It's not like that anymore. It used to be in Destiny 1. And I'm gonna say
information.
Right.
There's no more primary ammo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They've done away with primary.
Right. And weapons that take special ammo can be in the top slot, but they can also
I already
be
said there's exceptions. So yeah.
No, it's not just exceptions. It's just like that. There are shotguns that can be in the top slot, but there's also shotguns that can be in the second slot. But both of those.
So there's both kinetic and energy shotguns, just like there's kinetic and energy hand cannons or snipers, right?
Right.
Sniper rifles.
Mm-hmm.
But getting back to the three ammo types, it used to be called primary. They did away with primary ammo, and that's unlimited now, right? So there's no. Yeah, if you have a weapon that takes primary ammo, it's unlimited ammo. Now, if you have
the corrections,
right, so if you have a weapon now that takes special ammo, those are the green bricks, right? And most energy slot weapons use special, but not all. Right? Is that correct?
No.
Well,
no,
correct
because
me.
The pulse rifles, the scout rifles, the bows, all of those are primary ammo. But there's you're talking about but if they're energy related, not stasis, but like the light
arc,
energies,
solar, or void, right?
Right. If they're arc, solar, or void, they're going to be in that second slot, but they could be primary ammo.
They could be primary
ammo,
so
it's really more a class of weapon. Like the ones that are special, that take special, are usually shotguns, fusion rifles. There are special grenade launchers. There are also some heavy grenade launchers, but there's special grenade launchers. What else? Sniper rifles, and those can be in either the kinetic slot or they can be in that energy slot.
Let me ask you this, Salliebug. Is a weapon in my top slot that has stasis damage, that's not a kinetic weapon?
No.
Kinetic weapon by nature has to have no element.
So they've complicated that a little bit by putting the stasis weapons in that top slot, and that's just happened this season,
really have
with this DLC.
Yeah. It's confusing.
There are pros and cons to choosing a stasis weapon in that kinetic quote unquote slot. Basically, there's like the differences between the kinetic and energy slots as they were shipped to us with vanilla D2,
right,
is that the energy weapons you need for taking out shields. So if you are looking at a hive wizard with a solar shield, that's going to go down a lot faster with a solar weapon. But let's say you brought a void weapon with you, that still will deal more damage to the elemental shield than a kinetic weapon.
Even the stasis one now?
Yes, and so the
I always forget that.
Unless it's match game.
Stasis weapons kind of like have double perks there, where the kinetic weapons do 10% bonus damage on precision shots, which you can't land a precision shot through a shield. So a kinetic weapon gets both the 10% damage bonus on precision shots as well as the 50% damage bonus on shields. The only downside that I've seen about choosing a stasis weapon is that if you're using the disruption break perk specifically,
okay,
it's not gonna
won't give that 50% damage buff to a stasis weapon.
Because there's no stasis shields right now, but that doesn't mean that there won't be in the future.
And so, I mean, we'll get into weapon types probably the next episode, but I also wanted to say that the final type of ammo is heavy, which now that's pretty sacred, isn't it? Like
that's
the power slot
in that power slot.
That bottom power slot, that to do the extra damage, you're going to need purple heavy ammo. Those purple bricks that are lying around, right? So that hasn't changed. But that's right. They did away with the primary ammo. I was just thinking, in terms of pre Witch Queen, or whenever that came out. Well, that does it. I think it's time for our next segment, which is the special rotational segment. Yeah, we probably confused every beginning player out there. But head on over.
Every veteran player has tuned out by now.
Yeah. Right. So we apologize for that. But there are three types of ammo, and if there's so just and the best way to
2 types of wolves.
The one thing that I could tell you is, like, as a blueberry, is when you're looking at the weapon, regardless of what slot it's in, especially the first 2, is just looking whether or not there's like one of those like infinity signs. If there's an infinity sign, then that is a primary ammo, which means you're not going to have to worry about ammo economy. You have unlimited ammo in that weapon. But if there's a green box around it, it means that you have to have either a finder on, or just know that when you're run out of that ammo, you have to find a brick on the ground, that drops on the ground for that. There is a potential that you'll run out, like that ammo isn't unlimited. So I think those, and then the same runs true for all the power weapons, is those are purple bricks, and those are even rarer than the green bricks, the green ammo. And so just be aware that when you're using that, you can't just like run around with your sword and then kill everything, and then it's like, oh wait, now my sword's not working anymore. It's because you're running out of ammo.
This recap is going on a little long, but
caveats done.
The refresher on really what infinity means, and 0.
Well, you know what it's time for. The Paracasual Destiny Podcast presents A Touch of Grimoire. Salliebug with A Touch of Grimoire. This is our part of our rotational segment. We rotate Mod Academy with Greenstego, A Touch of Grimoire with Salliebug, and Destiny Soundcheck with Sooltime. Salliebug, take it away. What do we have this episode?
Well, we're going to enjoy the solstice. We're going to enjoy this limited event that's available to everyone, which is kind of fun. And so Stego and Romance Girl are going to read the lore that came on one of the armor pieces. It actually came on the Candescent boots, but it also came on the leg armor of all 3 classes. That it does not, in other words, the lore is the same regardless of which class you happen to be. And there is lore on all of those pieces. So I would suggest after, like as you're doing the solstice, take a look at the lore that came on those pieces. But this one, I chose the leg armor because it gives kind of a fun idea of how everyone's feeling about this event this year. So take it away.
Amanda Holliday's Solstice Roundup. See what the defenders of the Last City think about the new festivities. Vanguard Commander Zavala.
Each of us has faced and overcome so much. Sometimes that can feel like a sacrifice, or a price, but it's a lesson to remember and learn. I'd like Guardians to keep that in mind as we celebrate Solstice. What we come to do is only possible because of what we've done, both the good and the bad. Vanguard Ikora Ray.
Meditation is an important part of understanding not just the light, but ourselves. We rise in a void and seek meaning. The bonfire is a wonderful metaphor for that process. Amanda outdid herself helping with Solstice. Even I don't know how she managed all of this. Saint 14.
A big pyre to lay to rest everything we hold in our hearts. Yes, I could use this now. Celebration, explosions, revelry. Isn't it wonderful? I might cry.
Mithrax, Kell of House Light.
Guardian celebrations perplex and mystify. But new beginnings are worthy of what the saint calls partying. House Light is grateful for inclusion in this occasion, and offers forth many combustible baubles to the sacrificial flame.
Lord Saladin, Valis to Empress Keitel.
Once I can see this bonfire from Keitel's flagship, I'll be happy.
Empress Keitel of the Cabal Empire.
What is the ordnance limitation on these bonfire contributions? Perhaps the Cabal can assist in creating a larger fire. Anna Bray.
I'll support anything Amanda does. Quite a show. I'm always a fan of something fancy with a little attitude. Lord Shax.
I like to imagine the ignition cores are grenades. That does put a smile on my face. Eris Morn.
The what?
I had so much fun reading this one. It was even funner listening to you guys read it. So the question
what?
I had, I'm going to put this out to the group. Which one of these takes do you most relate to?
I guess I'm somewhere between Anna Bray and Eris Morn.
I think I like Anna Bray's. Like, I'll support anything Amanda does. I love her accent. I love that voice actress. And she's just having fun. And that's what we were saying is like, let's just having fun. So
I'm gonna go with Ikora Ray only because it's like a Hallmark card.
Ever poetic.
Yeah.
There you go.
I guess Zavala. Just the solstice is it's near to the end of summer vacation for myself, and just taking in this all the events of the year, and keeping all of that in mind as we celebrate solstice.
Cashing it all in.
Right. And just learning how to say, hey, it's, the year's had some ups and downs, but let's celebrate all of it and embrace all of it. So, well done.
Well, thank you, all of you. That was entertaining.
It certainly was.
And that brings us right into our final segment of the evening before we say goodbye, and that's the non-Destiny media consumption.
Non-Destiny media consumption.
I'll be honest, I haven't prepared for this segment myself. I've been playing a lot of Destiny. There's not a whole lot.
Well, that's not true.
That's not true.
The first season.
Oh
of
my
Stranger
gosh,
Things.
Stranger Things. I think we're trying to get through Stranger Things so we can cancel Netflix. Is that the plan?
I think that's the plan. So yeah, we've got through and got like through the first 2 or 3 episodes of season 2. So we're getting there.
We got a ways to go.
But then Solstice happened, and it's like we've been playing kind of Destiny nonstop since then. But I mean,
for the past 48 hours, I've been
preoccupied.
Yeah, I've been preoccupied with Solstice stuff.
And then we were it's like, we'll just we'll watch an episode tonight, and then we get on and play instead. So it's been fun. But I'm ready to watch another episode, maybe tomorrow.
And outside of it's kind of thinly veiled that I do another podcast called Get Out Those Old Records, and the last 2 artists we featured have kind of stuck with me. We did 2 episodes ago, we did Yellow Magic Orchestra, which was Haruomi Hosono, Japanese musician, and his catalog. We sort of dug into his music, and I've been listening to a lot of the Yellow Magic Orchestra. It's really stuck with me, and it's kind of been my summer theme, music-wise. And then our last episode, we did a Hungarian musician named Gabor Szabo, a very subtle jazz guitar player who got into experimental pop as well in the late 60s and 70s, and so a mixture of those 2 things have been on my playlists, and I've actually been using them as soundtracks while I'm doing Solstice event stuff. Just put those on the Spotify. Xbox is nice that way. You can just open up Spotify and have it play in the background. It's a really nice user interface for that to adjust the volume so it's nice and balanced with your gameplay. Another pro tip. Stego or Romance Girl, what have you guys been doing outside of the game?
For a video game, I have been playing through Unsighted, which is available on Xbox Game Pass. It's a little indie game with a retro pixel visual style, and it's a lot of fun. It's got some RPG, some action, beautiful story, beautiful art. It's just fun. Fun little post.
I think the pixel art is maybe a little more sophisticated than retro, because
it's definitely
it's got a feel. It's got the retro feel, but it's more it's updated.
But the pixel is just like it's a lot. It's
indie pixel art games are like
a long way,
beautiful, and it's like the pixel art is definitely like inspired by that retro aesthetic, but they just
have gone further with it.
Absolutely, like a Hyperlight Drifter.
Nice.
Anyway, and a show that we've just recently started airing. It's season 2 that we just watched. Is Primal, which is an animated series about a Neanderthal man and his friend, the dinosaur. T-Rex.
Oh, interesting. Primal, and it's on HBO?
Yes. Very brutal. It's
Oh, okay. Is that old? I'm sorry.
No, it's new.
Well,
okay.
It's the second season just started airing.
Oh, okay.
But it's like a newer series.
So there was a season 1 that aired a while ago.
Yeah.
Two parts.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm just looking it up. It was on Adult Swim at one time. It looks like, or it's associated
I think
with
it's
Adult
still
Swim.
Adult Swim, and now it's
Okay.
also they're
HBO's
doing
picked
a
it up.
thing where
Nice.
Adult Swim and HBO.
Very cool. I'm sorry I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no. Yeah, it's a very cool series. Definitely recommend it. Brutal. I have been playing Omno on Xbox Game Pass. It leaves at the end of the month, so I thought I'd give it a try, and it is absolutely breathtaking. It's beautiful 3D exploration puzzle game.
It's so meditative, isn't it?
It is. It's
so great.
Very relaxing. I've been playing it in the morning while Daniel makes breakfast.
Oh my gosh. I got hooked on that. Salliebug and I played it.
We had so much fun with that game. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm nearing the end of that one. And
put out by one guy. One person put that out. Actually, wow. Isn't that amazing? I'm sure he had some marketing people and consultation and everything, but by and large, that is a single person effort.
It's becoming a new trend, these single person game efforts, and I'm always amazed at what
it's amazing what they can do. It's amazing. I highly recommend Omno as well.
And we've watched the first 2 episodes of The Rehearsal on HBO, which is Nathan Fielder's latest show. And it is just as maniacal and ethically questionable as his other work. It is so disturbing and so funny. We were laughing so hard. It's just so great.
Yeah, the absurd situations and circumstances and just things that people say.
But also just the lengths he has gone through on this particular show. The idea is that he's helping people overcome a
situation that gives them like anxiety.
Yeah, a situation that gives them anxiety by simulating in great detail the event itself so that they can rehearse it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so the first episode, for example, had a person who was having trouble coming out with a secret that he had been keeping from his friend, and he was worried about how she was going to react, which kept him from like continuing to not tell this secret. And it probably wouldn't have been a big deal if he had just told her right away, but he lied and then kept the lie for years. And so Nathan Fielder hires like an actress to play her, and they role play confessions.
That's just one layer of it. It's very hard to describe, but it's highly recommended.
Yeah,
it is art.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia of The Rehearsal right now.
It is
definitely
insane.
need to initiate myself.
You should just go in as blind as possible and just
I'm looking at it.
If you're a fan of Nathan For You, it definitely doesn't disappoint.
Yeah. I think that about does it for episode 54. And we got the title of this episode, Two Wolves, we're going to call it. And unless anybody else has anything else to add, I think we are ready to sign off on this broadcast. Salliebug? Go ahead.
While we're on the topic of Two Wolves, I do think that if there's a Destiny character who is familiar with the fable of the Two Wolves, it's Lord Saladin.
Yeah, it has to be.
Unnecessary comment, but thank you, Greenstego.
Well, he just reminded me of those wolves that you could actually pet. Remember in Rise of Iron? They had them roaming around. Those were...
Yes.
I miss them. I might have to pull that out and reinstall D1 just to see those wolves.
Just to see the wolf.
Go ahead and leave a comment down below on our YouTube video and post a tweet. # unvault the Iron Temple. Thank you, viewers.
And if you could just comment below "wolf" to let us know you've gotten to the end of this podcast.
That old trick. Okay, Mylan. All right. So I'm Sooltime, and on behalf of Greenstego, Salliebug, and RomanceGirl, I'd like to thank everybody for listening to us tonight and tuning in. Join us live on YouTube every other Saturday, generally speaking, at around 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern. You can subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter. Until next time, it's goodbye from all of us here at the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. Keep looking up.
Bye.